Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger. And from Harvard University now, Robert Ziggy Ziegler joins us. He's back after the move with a fresh haircut. You know, guys, Ziggy does that haircut himself, too, which is pretty impressive.
Up to the Northeast.
Yeah, up in the Northeast.
Comes Ziggy.
I don't know how, Ziggy, like you were saying, that you're snipping the back of your head, too. Like, I don't know how you are able to line it up. I just can't.
He's a mirror.
Yeah, I just don't think I'd be very good at that.
Ziggy got snipped.
Ziggy with his haircut. So how'd the move go? It looks like you got a nice place up there.
It's cheap. I probably won't get shot.
That's always an important part about where you live. Will you get shot if you walk outside? That's good. Hopefully not.
The answer here is maybe.
Do you miss UVA, Ziggy?
I loved living in Charlottesville, but on to other things, I guess. Got to pay the bills somehow.
Any Red Sox games coming up?
We'll see. I'd like to go to one.
That would be, yes.
I'd love to see him beat the Yankees. That'd be a whole lot of fun. So I think I'll be going to one of those.
A Yankee Red Sox game at Fenway would be pretty cool. And where in Boston are you? Well, we'll talk more off about Ziggy's
we
Boston
don't want people doxing me.
Yeah, right. Hey, I've heard great things about Boston. Our good friend Brian says it's his favorite city. So
my sister
good enough
lived
for
there for a couple years. She loved it.
Yeah. I think it's very exciting, Ziggy. Even though I'm sure you'll miss UVA, that's pretty cool to try out a new city now. And you are kind of a student at Harvard, right? Well, not a student, but like you have access to all the Harvard
I'm
libraries.
a visiting scholar.
Yeah, that's
my title.
So cool. That's awesome. What is the first thing you're going to study?
Well, I guess I just sent out a paper. So the first thing I'm probably going to study is I've been looking to track down something Leibniz says about final causation and like some 1970s physics articles. So I got to get there, check that out real quick, and then start learning Greek.
Final.
What about the Boston Tea Party?
That was just a very, very subtle, and I have to start learning Greek.
What are the Boston Tea Party, Ziggy?
That's after my time.
Really?
My 1704 is when my knowledge ends.
When was the Boston Tea Party? 1800s?
Final causality refers to the end, purpose, or goal that a thing is directed towards or explains its existence. I guess. So I guess our causality here would be trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, which maybe not our end goal, but we're one of our goals.
Is that like a means to an end, that kind of thing?
Not quite.
No.
This isn't philosophy.
We'll avoid philosophy. Right now we're at 19,852 subs, so we're closing in. We're almost there to the 20,000th subscriber for the show, which will be really cool for us. Of course, having Ziggy back will help boost the ratings and get the show where it needs to be. Ziggy, a quick update. The Fantasy Tour de France League ended. And when I looked over the rankings, I came in 14th, Jack, which was better than I expected for myself.
That's not bad.
But Ziggy came just short of first place. Second. As close as he can come, which means he's lost the bet.
Do we know who won?
Oh, we know who won. Ziggy, why don't you go ahead and fill it in? You ran this thing. So what happened?
Yeah, I've been betrayed by my own mother.
Mrs. Ziegler won.
It's a story as old as time. It's, I knew that Paul's dad wasn't a threat. None of our fans would be a threat. So I thought everything would be easy. But I didn't expect it to come from something so close.
You overlooked your own mother.
That's actually hysterical.
Who wound up taking the trophy.
What were her odds? She was probably plus like 60K coming into this,
No,
right?
she watches.
Oh, no. I think she was the favorite.
She got Ziggy into cycling, correct?
Okay.
Her and your father got you into cycling. So Mrs. Ziegler, we didn't mention her one time. The entirety of the Tour de France tournament here, we did not mention Mrs. Ziegler, who I guess was like, the shark under the surface.
Mrs. Z, under the radar.
Yeah, she comes in, and now Ziggy, unfortunately, this is not good. I was rooting for you, Ziggy, and my father as well, who's in direct competition with you. He's like, if I can't win, I need Ziggy to win. I don't want to see him in a Packer jersey, but for some reason, that's the deal Ziggy made. And now when we go week 12 to Vikings-Packers, do you know what jersey it's going to be? Do you know what? We have the Jordan Love Youth Small somewhere in my house.
It'll get revealed later in the show. It's not going to be the Youth Small Jordan Love. It's going to be a player even more exciting, more important to the Packers.
So you're going to go out and buy a Packer jersey?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I might join you.
Oh, no. This is not. This is going to turn into me versus all of Lambeau. Me and my dad versus Lambeau.
I'll be on the Packers.
I'm still rooting for the Vikings. I didn't say anything about that.
I believe you, but it will be hard for other people to decipher that when they see you in a Packer jersey.
Well, we're celebrities. They'll know.
And once you're in Lambeau Field, you might mix things up a little bit. You never know.
Can you see a touchdown? Ziggy's like,
I'm rooting for Green Bay.
I mean, we could, if I'm wearing the Packers jersey, they might Lambeau leap into me.
I was going to say my biggest nightmare scenario is we're sitting in the end zone, Packers score a touchdown, and it's on like Sports Center, all the slow motion highlights of like Matthew Golden jumping into the end zone with Ziggy's arms wide open and a huge smile on his face.
You know what'd be funny? If Matthew Golden like struggled for 11 weeks and his first touchdown came week 12 and his first Lambeau leap was into our arms.
Was into you and not my arms. I'm pushing back.
I guess me and Ziggy. I'd be like, oh, Matthew, I was the kid who asked the question.
I don't think I could actually push back. Let Lambeau. I mean, if he jumps into me, then I feel like I have personal boundaries. I can be like, get off. But
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this right now. If Matthew Golden does a Lambeau leap into me, I'm becoming a Packers fan. It's that simple. Right here, right now. I've made the promise.
I'm going to buy tickets in like the 400s. How high can you go in Lambeau Field? I don't want to be anywhere close.
He Lambeau leaps to the 400 section.
Yeah, big jump. Hey, I mean, if he can jump nearly as well as he can run, then we're talking about some skill here. Actually, this is a nice transition here because our show today is going to be overreaction, underreaction to these training camp stories, and it's awesome training camp. I love overreacting, and frankly, everybody looks great this time of year. Most people.
What's an underreaction? What's the definition of underreaction?
I would say it's more of like, here's a storyline, and we're saying like, is this something to be concerned about or to buy into, or is this something that's like underreaction? It's like whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not as important as people are saying. Underreact to it.
Yes.
So the first, we're going to go through all four NFC North teams. Then we got Patriots are confusing me with what's going on up by Ziggy now, I guess in Boston. And Matthew Stafford dealing with an injury. And Jack was really pumped up with the Pat McAfee show at Pittsburgh today for training camp. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers there. We'll start though. You know what? No better place to start than where we just were with Matthew Golden and what's going on in Green Bay, because every single time you open your computer, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, if you're searching the term Packers, what's popping up is Matthew Golden shines. Matthew Golden dominates practice. Matthew Golden impressing again. And I will be very honest with the audience. We've done a lot of Matthew Golden content on this show so far, and I haven't really truly bought into the hype other than just like, I acknowledge that he's having really good practices and stuff. But personally, I'm not afraid of Matthew Golden, but I'm starting to get a little bit more. Bless you.
Well, I was offended watching our show back without me on Monday. You do one show without me and we say, who's going to win the wide receiver one job? Oh, it's Jaden Reed. I don't know. Maybe it's the guy that's blowing up Carrington Valentine and Nate Hobbs in practice. The guy where the Packers have to post a multiple minute long highlight video on their Twitter because he's doing so well. I get that it's training camp.
I'm so losing him.
Right? So like you can't read so much into this. But the way guys move is the way guys move, right? How they run routes is how they run routes. And Matthew Golden, I really think, has had an outstanding training camp. The only training camp I can remember that was better was Justin Jefferson's.
It's you feel like a lost cause soon, Ziggy.
I mean, you could also tell though he is just the natural ability to play receiver. Matthew Golden's going to be their best receiver.
Yeah, he'll be the one. I know we were talking about Reed last episode, and I like Jaden Reed a lot. Like I've always been a big Jaden Reed guy. I've never have Packers players on my fantasy teams. Like that is a rule that I've always stuck to up until Ziggy and I have this dynasty league with like 20 roster spots, and I think I had like final pick of the draft a couple of years ago. I got Jaden Reed. So he was just rotting on my bench, and all of a sudden, 2 years ago, I'm like, oh shit! Like at the end of the year, this guy could play, and I started rooting for Jaden Reed, fantasy wise. But yeah, I can't go back to it. But if I had to take a Packer receiver, yeah, all the signs on Matthew Golden are there. The special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia, who, as everyone knows, had the Raiders on that the playoff run a couple of years ago. Did you guys hear about the new nickname that he gave for Golden?
The Golden Boy.
That's a good one.
Golden
but that's not it. Did you see it, Ziggy?
What is it, Paul?
Bullet. Which I personally, as a Viking fan, I don't like hearing any of the Packers players with the nickname Bullet. But he gave it to him after Bullet Bob Hayes, the Cowboys receiver, who's the only man ever to win both a Super Bowl and an Olympic gold medal. He ran the 100-meter in the 1964 Tokyo Olympics.
Bullet.
Also number 22. And Matthew, I mean, it's a different class of speed. 4.29 at the 40-yard dash.
Bullet sounds like a 4th grade rec running back.
Yeah.
Oh, Bullet.
Yeah. I think Bisaccia is the only one who calls him that, but that's just kind of, I mean, 4.29 speed that's elite. That's legit stuff, right?
I ran an untimed 4.5.
4.5.
Seriously.
4.5 is really good.
Back when
4.29 is a different class. Again.
What's that? A step or two behind?
It matters in the National Football
That's all you
League.
need to get separation in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Matthew Golden that I think is really standing out is if you're a Packers fan, they don't usually talk about rookies like this. Usually at this point in training camp, if you're a rookie, like every single other rookie they drafted, they're on the 2nd team or the 3rd team. They're taking snaps. They're learning. The fact that they feel ready to come out and put this kind of attention on Matthew Golden and have him already rotating in with the ones means clearly inside the building, they think this guy's an exception to their usual rule. They think he's special.
A mix of his speed and like his route running, his ability to move is going to be a big separating factor with him and the other Packers wide receivers.
And they're good. I like them. I mean, all the news on these guys is great. We were talking about Wicks the other day.
Like Golden and Reed could be dirty as a 1, too.
And I think Wicks is a 3. I mean, it's all. And Romeo and Dobbs is there, too. That's the thing about this Packer offense that's
almost good as
scary.
Pittsburgh.
If they're all elevating their games, which it is preseason. I mean, I'm sorry, it is training camp, but all the signs are there. And what did we talk about at the very beginning of training camp when it came to Matthew Golden? Do you guys remember me saying when you have studs, they usually find a way to separate themselves? Like you'll hear about it. And the hope was that it would just be, training camp as usual. And Matthew Golden looks okay, but the reports aren't just that Matthew Golden looks okay. It's like he is clearly on a tier above, and he's clearly like showing the potential to be a star. And that's exactly what I said. If he's going to be a star, you'll probably start hearing about it. And whether it's Andy Herman or our buddy Baserski, like all these guys who are at Packer training camp every day are going, man, this is Rob Domofsky. Like they're all like, he's unbelievable.
And you'd rather hear all this than hear like, Matthew Golden's dropping passes and being guarded well.
And they'll be super valuable too, because with Christian Watson out, you kind of lose your field stretcher. And I think that if Watson gets back, if he finds playing time in there, or if people aren't traded, that's just another way that you have more speed on the field. Just giving Matthew Golden the football. I know they're giving him some end arounds in practice the other day. When you have a guy who can move like this, just give him the rock and let him take it to the house. Like it's going to be fun for Packers fans. I mean, this is a 1st-round talent that seems to have all the skill sets needed to break onto the scene.
Yeah, give the bullet the rock.
Yeah, give the bullet the rock. I'm not happy seeing this. I'm really not happy about Ziggy.
Ziggy is.
I mean, I'm going to be happy until he carves up the Vikings.
Ziggy's through the roof about it.
I'm still. You know what it is with Matthew Golden is he doesn't have the feeling to me of like, the hype around Marvin Harrison Jr. and the hype around even Malik Neighbors last season. A lot of these receivers that you see go early in round 1, like remember CeeDee Lamb, tons of hype.
Well, it's because he didn't go early in round 1.
No, he didn't. But I'm sorry, a round 1 receiver. Like, yeah, where'd he go? 21, 22, 20?
Yeah, he was
23?
the 3rd wide receiver taken at 23.
Still, yeah, it's like, I guess it's, where it kind of fits in a little bit more, not to equate the players, but it kind of like Justin Jefferson, right? We took Justin Jefferson and there was not a lot of hype around Justin Jefferson coming in, other than the people who saw him play, and that were like, this guy's going to shock some people. And that's kind of what you've seen when people talk about Golden. But I think part of the reason that it's, in my mind, at least as a Viking fan, I'm not going, man, I'm really nervous about this guy, because he didn't have the draft day hype other than the 4.29, which is something. But he didn't have that hype that usually you see with the top 10 receivers. And now as this is coming out, this is where I'm starting to think a little bit more to myself, like, okay, this could be a problem.
But even so, with regardless of hype coming out of college, you do have to see when it's the regular season performance.
Oh yeah.
Like, so obviously as a Vikings fan, yeah, it sucks to be hearing all this with Matthew Golden. But if he's on the field week 1, week 2, week 3, and it's the regular season and he's not performing, like you have to see it first.
Like Justin Jefferson in week 3 at 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Like when defenses are trying to lock you up, and you're a rookie, prove that you can perform there. And nothing against Matthew Golden here. Like, I'm sure he's going to be awesome, but I'm saying just pump the brakes a little bit.
But this is where, and if you are going to buy into the hype, so I actually think, as far as like overreaction, underreaction, like I do not think that this is an overreaction. I think that it's I think him playing this way and looking this good, I think is a great sign for the Packers, and I would buy into the hype. And I'd start thinking to myself, man, if he becomes a top 10, top 12 receiver in football, maybe top 15, like we don't have to get crazy here. But if he can start entering those conversations, you see what these stud receivers do to teams. That's the whole point here. The Packers saying they need a number one receiver. It's not that they don't have receiving talent. It's look at the transformations on these teams that get the stud receiver. Remember, it's like what Diggs did for Josh Allen, what A.J. Brown did for Hurts, and Jefferson for the Vikings. Like, when you have that guy, it opens everything up. And that's where the Packers offense goes from a very good one with a focus on Josh Jacobs at the moment to we're just going to light you up.
I'd say it's a slight overreaction only because it's
training camp.
It's training camp.
So you do over under?
I lean on the dot/under. I think people are going to look at this as yet another story of a guy looking good in training camp. But I think if you understand the Packers and how they operate, they believe in this guy big time. And when they've got someone in the building they believe in, it usually turns out pretty well.
I just think that regardless, before we move on here real quick, regardless of what he was going to do in training camp, unless he was flat out terrible, we'd be hearing good reviews.
Yes.
So that's why I'd say it's a bit of an overreaction.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's one thing. I talked about this with a friend yesterday. It's one thing to like look at the media reports and see, okay, they're saying he's good. But when you actually watch what he's doing, right? This is what's nice about being in the social media. You can go on Twitter and just type in like Matthew Golden and actually see what he's doing.
Yeah.
He looks like that guy. This isn't like the Packers beat reporter that needs access to the team saying, hey, guys, they're rookie. It doesn't suck. Please don't cut off my access and take away my press credential. Right? Like that's what happens with the Knicks every year, right? You're required to say every player the Knicks drafted is unbelievable because otherwise Dolan's going to get you banned from the building. You can actually see what's happening. And what it looks like is outstanding.
But I also bet there's been a lot of mistakes and stuff that aren't posted.
Oh,
like Twitter reminds me.
Andy Herman's talked about when he struggled out there too.
Yeah, I mean, like what do I post on Instagram? It's the life highlights.
You need to have your like.
I want the whole world of national TV watching Matthew Golden in a regular season game.
Yes, you need to have your reporters that you trust and look at what they're saying, because there are a lot of accounts where it's like. There's one of them for the Vikings that's just like...
Oh, that guy who just makes stuff up.
Yeah, he just makes... And like, I know he makes stuff up, but there are people who will DM us clips and be like, do you see JJ McCarthy threw his 4th interception today? I'm like, no, that was actually Kirk Cousins from 2022. Or it's like, yeah, did you see JJ McCarthy's 60-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson? Like, that's one of the clips he posted. You go, well, no, that was Jalen Naylor. Like Jefferson's not playing right now. Yeah. And you have guys do this where it's like McCarthy's going to be a problem next year. And it's a little scramble. Like that's where you get all this exaggeration. And I mean, we fall victim to it too sometimes. I mean, with our titling to a degree.
Everybody does.
Like we try and have exciting titles, and yeah, every once in a while it will toe the line of this is hyperbole. And I don't like that. And I try not to do it. Ziggy's looking, he's like, you like it. You like it. Like that's my job. But for real, you need to try and keep it in check, because otherwise, when people do the incredible things, you're desensitized to it. I knew I said it, and I was waiting to see if you were going to. I was hoping I wasn't going to get called out for it. But you're desensitized to the great plays, because every single training camp thing is Drake Maye problem. It's like, right, that's all it is. Like, it's like an out route. Like, let's relax here. Speaking of JJ McCarthy and an overreaction, underreaction, and I'm going to be upfront here with you guys. This would be a huge overreaction if anyone takes this with anything more than as a grain of salt. He struggled in Tuesday's practice, and this is right on the heels of a video coming out from our show saying JJ McCarthy lighting up training camp. Tuesday, he did not light up training camp. Struggled. He had a quote here from Will Regatz from Sports Illustrated. He said his completion percentage well below 50% in team periods. Some narrow misses, some were blatant misses or miscommunications, couple balls that were arguably drops, overall the theme was too many balls hit the grass instead of being completed. And you're going to have that in training camp. You will have days where you light the world on fire and you have everyone say, wow, the Vikings could go to the NFC Championship game this year with JJ McCarthy. You will have days where he, as a human, JJ McCarthy will just struggle, as we all do, from just not your day. I have no worries at all. I think when they're stringing together, if JJ has 4 straight days where even the Vikings beat reporters, who are, yes, encouraged to write positive things, go, yeah, this is bad. That's where I start to pay attention. But one day of struggles literally means nothing to me.
What's he going to do? Come out and light the world on fire every day?
That'd be nice.
That would be, it'd be great. I'm with you. I think a kid who hasn't played in the NFL yet, who struggles one day in training camp, is again, it's one thing if it's strung together, if it's 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and he looks flat out horrible. But
I love how right now JJ McCarthy is a great day, and I come on our show and I'm like, this could be a special year. And then he has a bad day. I'm like,
well, that's also an overreaction.
I mean,
yes.
I want my quarterback to have bad days where he throws 60-yard touchdowns. If that's a bad day, that's a bad day.
He did do that. Yes, he did do that.
With JJ McCarthy, I think one thing that's important to keep in mind, and what the Vikings are doing in training camp right now, because he didn't get to practice much last year, they're still in the figuring it out phase where it's like, what can this guy do? So a lot of what they're asking him to do in training camp are things that really push his abilities. That's part of why you're seeing so many deep passes coming out of JJ McCarthy, because he wasn't throwing the ball. Like, he made it to preseason, week 1 last year, and he messed up his knee?
Yes.
So he didn't get all that much time out there, right? That's like 3 or 4 weeks of practice. They're still seeing, what is this guy able to do for us? That means you're going to get more of the highlight plays that get Paul and me excited. It also means that you're going to see more of the struggles. It's different than when, when the Falcons were bringing in, Kirk Cousins last year. They were trying to figure out what they had, but that's only because he was hurt. When the Chiefs are bringing in Patrick Mahomes into training camp, they're not like, what can Patrick Mahomes do? I wonder how good this guy is at throwing the ball on the run, right? Everything they do is for the benefit of all the other players. This training camp, it's actually sort of the opposite with the Vikings. Right? We've got veteran wide receivers, a mostly veteran offensive line. We've got Aaron Jones back there. We're trying to get JJ McCarthy up to speed, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the excitement's still there for everyone. Did you guys see Dan Orlovsky tweeted out this morning? Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, who, by the way, I apologize to everybody profusely. I've been calling him Will Freeze. I've been calling him Will Freeze.
Ryan Kelly. Is he the guy in the Lakers?
No. Ryan, what?
He doesn't play. He's a shooter for Notre Dame. We live for the Lakers, right? Ryan Kelly, multi-sport athlete.
Are you thinking of Brian Kelly, our old football coach?
No, there wasn't. I thought there. Never mind.
I know who you're thinking of, and no, this was a guy. What was his name? Ziggy. Something Ryan.
No, I
Cormac Ryan, right?
No.
Played for Duke.
I was thinking of Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan, who lived in the dorm that Ziggy and I lived in until he faked having asthma to get out of it.
Really?
That's the story. I don't want to throw out allegations, but I guess I just did. So anyway, Dan Orlovsky tweets out Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, who I was accidentally calling Will Freeze because I heard it earlier in the offseason. My bad. It made no sense at the time. Makes more sense now. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave. Both lines are better. Top 5 play calling tandem in O'Connell and Flores. If McCarthy is a league average starter, the Vikings could be in the NFC title game. And, I tend to agree with him.
I think everything around him is where it needs to be.
Yeah, I think the team is there. Because when you look back on Darnold, and we've been mentioning this a lot recently, how great Darnold was last year. Darnold was unbelievable, and that did propel us to 14 wins. But he was horrible in the playoff game and the Detroit game. So if you get average Darnold, we could win either of those games.
I also do think, though, to win an NFC title, to win a Super Bowl, McCarthy can't be an average quarterback. He needs to step up there as well.
Yes, think about Nick Foles, right, in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl against us in New England.
He went berserk.
Yeah, he went crazy because when you get to that game, across the field is going to be the Patrick Mahomeses and the Joe Burrows and the Staffords.
And if McCarthy is a league average QB, he's probably not going to
Yes, and you know in that game that those guys are going to rise to the occasion.
Maybe McCarthy would too.
But I think, I like what Josh Metellus is saying, because that's what all the outside noise is. JJ McCarthy has to be good to win a Super Bowl. That should not be what's on JJ McCarthy's mind. I like
totally not. Totally not.
Captain come out and say, look, man, we've got a great defense. Our offense has a lot of explosive players. People are still underrating the defense. I think he's right. As a quarterback, look, get back there, get to your drops. Even if you see the pocket collapse, just take care of business. And that's all we need, right? That's what Sam Darnold brought. Sam Darnold generally didn't try to play hero ball. He just did what Kevin O'Connell told him. That's all we need.
Reminds me of a Brock Purdy type of situation where he went to the Super Bowl. I didn't think him personally was fantastic.
But in that offense,
but very, very good in that system, in that offense. And he was kind of a next level game manager type of guy, where if JJ can do that, kind of what Brock did, this team could be very good. And I'm glad you similar situation.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Ziggy, because it's very true. We're talking about going to the Super Bowl here, and that just isn't that's not the expectation. I know people are saying the Vikings had won 14 games last year. If you regress, is that a bad look for JJ McCarthy? And I mean, the answer is just no. 14 wins it's an extraordinary season. If the Vikings get to the playoffs, if they compete for winning the division would be unbelievable to me.
100%.
With Detroit and Green Bay there, who I mean, I think we can. Detroit's just been such a problem lately. If they're able to win the division, I'll be like, this is all right. This is amazing.
Yeah, against Goff and Love.
Yeah, so we can't I mean, we're talking about the Super Bowl because it's fun to talk about, and as fans, that's what we root for. But the real expectations for the Vikings is, I think it's to try and get to the playoffs,
make a wild card round.
Yeah, get to the wild card round. That should be the goal, that should be the floor of what you're hoping for, and then anything beyond that will just be amazing. So
I'll say one more thing. I think the last couple of years have sort of tinted people's expectations about what a rookie quarterback can do. I mean, since 2012, right? You have Dak Prescott in 2016 and Lamar Jackson in 2018. Those were the only starting rookie quarterbacks to make the playoffs until you got this sudden surge of Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. Look, you've seen it a lot over the past 3 years. We've had 4 rookie quarterbacks make the playoffs. That happened 4 times the previous 11 years before that.
Yeah.
So
it's a great stat.
Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, they've had special seasons. I think that makes people think that's just sort of what you can expect. It's not what you can expect. What you can hope for is that your guy's okay.
Brian Branch says, get your popcorn ready for Jamo. In Detroit, we've said there hasn't been too many storylines that we've been excited to talk about. And I wouldn't say we're excited to talk about this one because...
I thought the first meant Jameis Winston.
He's no Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
The last thing that I want to hear is that the Lions are having another big-time weapon. Now, Jameson Williams was very good last season, but having him take another leap, that's just a scary thought for any NFC North fan, any NFL fan. Because the Lions are up there with the top 5 Super Bowl contenders, or they should be on everyone's list. And Jameson Williams, a receiver who eclipsed 1,000 yards last season, sort of had the breakout we've been waiting for after injury first year. Remember coming off the torn ACL, gambling suspension in year 2. Last year we saw him break out, and all the reports coming out of Lions training camp. I mean, you listen to everyone; they're like, "This guy's turning into what we were hoping." And you have to remember. Who gave them Jameson Williams? The Minnesota Vikings. It all comes back to that 2022 NFL draft for me every single time. If Jameson Williams turns into something, really turns into something, and it all traces back to that damn pick, I'm going to lose sleep over it. But right now, Williams has shown significant improvement in his attention to detail, specifically footwork, timing in his route, looks on a different level from prior years. Catching the ball cleanly with hands seems second nature. 2 years ago, every throw was an adventure. I mean, these are the kind of things you're hearing about.
Every throw was an adventure?
Yeah, right.
He was injured at Alabama, right? He got hurt, Jamo.
Yeah, remember when you were ripping apart Bryce Young and Bryce Young was playing without John Mechie and without if John Mechie and Jameson Williams playing that national championship game, they very well could beat
because
Georgia.
Bryce Young stinks. But anyway,
Bryce Young was the only guy to beat Georgia in that like 2-year period.
He stinks
with the receivers, and then they both tore their ACLs.
They got killed by Georgia when it counted
because they had their 2 receivers out with
Georgia
ACLs.
lost on purpose first game. You know that
to keep us out,
to keep Alabama in because they stink.
To keep Notre Dame out.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you had to give one or the other there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do not believe a statement like this can be taken with a grain of salt. Like, to me, it's a bit of an underreaction here. I mean, we have.
I guess we're like overreaction or not overreaction.
Right. I'd say not an overreaction. Yeah. The underreaction is like a weird term. So it's not an overreaction because all I've said about Detroit, and I guess this is most people too, we said on this show is they were the number 1 seed without their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like their defense is coming back. I've also been guilty of saying how I think that Jared Goff needs somebody else on the offense to step up a bit outside of Amon-Ra.
Yep.
And if Jameson Williams...
And the running backs, right? And the run.
Right. We all know his potential. We all know the ceiling. We've seen what he can do. And if he can become a legitimate threat, a legitimate number 2 receiver in the NFL in this Lions offense, with the defense back healthy, this team's going to be really, 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 really hard to beat. So I'd say it's not an overreaction because we know how good he can be. And if he's now getting that attention, I think it's legitimate.
If you think about Jameson Williams' career up until this point, his first 2 seasons in the NFL, he didn't get a real offseason. The first one was because of the injury, the torn ACL in Bama. The second was because of that gambling policy investigation. Once he got a regular offseason, and let's not forget, right, that includes him getting suspended for performance-enhancing substances in October. He exploded last year. Now we're looking at a Jameson Williams that everyone in the building is saying is finally mature, is finally figuring things out, and hopefully won't be asked to throw any passes. We saw how that ended against the Commanders last time. There's a real chance, I think, that this is the opportunity he needs to put it together, because the biggest issue that we saw in 2023 that was different in 2024 was how's this guy going to get integrated into the offense? And when you're not in the building because you were busy gambling on football, the answer is you won't get integrated into the offense. Now that there's that opportunity, he's older, he's in a contract year. It's time for him to show up. Actually, is he in a contract year? They picked up his 5th-year option, right? But he could absolutely get extended after this season. There's a big opportunity for him to show that he belongs in Detroit. I agree. I think there's something to this. And ultimately, the Lions need him.
Yeah, they do need someone other than Amon-Ra to step up in that receiving room. But dude, I
mean, now he's been in the league. He's got his feet wet.
Well, and he sounds more mature too. Like as Ziggy said, he's on the field. And he's becoming more than just a deep threat. And Tim Patrick was saying that as well. It's awesome that he was 3rd in the league in plays over 40+ yards last year, or in receptions. He was 2nd in yards per reception last year as well. But now he's adding into his arsenal. They said Tim Patrick said most of the routes that he's been running this offseason have been shorter routes. And if he can start to become more of a master in that field, or that part of being a receiver, now we're talking about a very complete and dangerous receiver who complements Amon-Ra really well. And the more you kind of look for weaknesses on Detroit, like I start running through my head, and yeah, we'll see if like Isaac Tesler or 3rd receiver steps up, but it's okay. Jahmyr Gibbs, wow, that's a problem. Montgomery, that's a problem. Laporta, he's a problem. Amon-Ra, he's a problem. It's that interior of the O-line is where we're going to figure out what if that's a real issue or not for Detroit once the season gets going. But even defensively, you see stars at every level, and I get this hopeless feeling actually as a Viking fan. Given our last few times we played Detroit, I think about us going up against them, and I'm just like, I don't know how we beat these guys. Even last year, I know we lost on a game-winning field goal, but we were pretty fortunate to have the fumble recovery to take the lead. Detroit was dominating most of that game. I really do have this despair when I think about playing the Lions.
They're much better. They're much better than you.
No, I know. I'm hoping that this year we've got it a little bit closer because I think we got better and I think they got a little bit worse. But a lot needs to go right to beat them. That's why they won 15 games.
If Jamo can step up to be a legitimate number 2, it reminds me of a situation in Dallas. Now getting their number 2 in George Pickens.
But you're adding in Jahmyr Gibbs
and then, right,
and
then you add
Montgomery.
Yeah, then you add Gibbs and Montgomery.
And you know, the O-line in Dallas, I mean, there's some good pieces there, but it's they're a problem. They are a real problem. We just need to hope that schedule screws them. That's my hope. Like, the Lions will not fall apart. Yeah,
we
need you to beat them.
We'll beat them. That's a loss for them.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and think about schedules dooming teams, but I think they're going to be really good. Because at the end of the day, if your team's good, you'll win a bunch of games.
Yeah,
they're the hunters. They are, or you know what I mean? Or I guess they're the hunted. I don't know.
For the record, the Lions have their wide receiver 3.
Who are you?
Tim Patrick.
It's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, yeah, I know. He's
new offensive coordinator coming in. They're saying he's being split out way more. They've got their wide receiver 3 right there. You know, Ben Johnson said he was going to use Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game, and that was a lie. I don't think this is a lie.
Have you turned the corner on drafting running backs early, Jack?
No.
Like, would you draft Jahmyr Gibbs in the top 10? No. Surely you. Yes, you would.
No, not.
If you reestablish Jahmyr Gibbs into the NFL draft this year,
if you put any freaking back behind the Lions, they'd be good.
That's
100% true.
So if the Steelers were picking 9 and Jahmyr Gibbs were there this year in the draft, you wouldn't take him.
Jalen Warren be a beast on the Lions. A beast.
You are crazy.
All right, man.
Look at Scotty, round 6. He's better than Genti.
Well, I guess we'll see. The Chicago Bears now, not to be forgotten. While all the attention is on Caleb Williams, kind of the same way that JJ McCarthy stories come out, Caleb Williams has a bad practice. Everyone's talking about it. Caleb Williams has a good practice. Everybody's talking about it. What can kind of get hidden here are the guys who are actually starting to stand out. And one of those dudes in Chicago is first round pick, number 10 overall in the draft, Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan, who, if you remember, guys, on the show, we referenced Joel Klatt's ranking the players in the draft. He had Colston Loveland at number 4, above Tyler Warren, who was the wonder guy out of Penn State. Colston Loveland, I mean, the athleticism, the route running, the receiving ability. We're talking about a guy you can line him up at receiver or tight end. Anywhere you put him, he's going to make a play on the football. And beyond that, we're seeing him really play well as a blocker. There's a couple videos out where he's making blocks for Caleb and he's catching the edge on a scramble. Like, this guy can do it all. And the reviews out of Chicago are just glowing. I'll read you one real quick from Adam Johns of CHGO. Beyond encouraging. You're seeing everything the Bears said, the separation, the athleticism to go up and get the ball. He's gotten bigger. He looks stronger. He's fast. He's going to be such a weapon for Ben Johnson in this offense. That's like the quintessential training camp.
I mean,
comment.
Watching McCarthy throw little 6-yard slants to Loveland would turn me on Saturdays. No, I mean, that was just unbelievable stuff. Little play action dump off screen to Loveland. He bowls for 10 yards. I was surprised when I saw him go ahead of Tyler Warren. And what's important about this is I'd say it's not an overreaction here, something like this, especially with Caleb, a QB who struggled last year, and I think he'll struggle again. But I won't talk about that. Loveland as a tight end is a big-time security blanket. You see a lot of these guys at this position, even go back years. A guy like Dallas Clark, Rob Gronkowski, Heath Miller. This tight end historically has been a position where if you're running around, you're lost, there's not much. That's your security blanket right there in Colston Loveland. And to have a good tight end could work wonders for a guy like Caleb Williams, who's still in the second year. So I'd say it's not an overreaction.
The thing about Colston Loveland that you have to keep in mind is this is a guy who's just coming off of shoulder surgery, right? 2 weeks ago, he could do basically nothing on the practice field. He couldn't do any live reps because of that shoulder injury. So to come back from that and immediately slot yourself in, it's impressive. And the thing is, if you're a tight end in the NFL and you want playing time, this is something that's held Cole Kmet back over the course of his career. You have to be able to do everything a tight end needs to do. right? You've got guys like Mike Gesicki who are functionally just big slot receivers, but can't block very well. You've got guys who can block really well, like Tommy Tremble, but just are not effective receivers. What's rare in a tight end and what makes certain guys like Travis Kelce earlier in his career so valuable, unless you're just like Brock Bowers and can do absolutely everything a great receiver can, the ability to block, to be able in running and passing, and the ability to receive, just like to be able to do all the stuff a tight end can do, that's how you get playing time early. And that's why, despite having Cole Kmet, who's not a terrible tight end, but could really use some work on his blocking, the Bears still placed high priority on getting Colston Loveland in there. Because you saw what they were able to do with Sam Laporta in Detroit when he was healthy. Colston Loveland could be that guy.
But this is, first off, Tommy Tremble. I love the Tommy Tremble shout out right there. Notre Dame guy.
Tremble stinks.
He's an unbelievable blocker.
No, Tommy Tremble is an unbelievable
Great blocker. I mean, that's why he's in the league.
This is why the Panthers took him in the third round and why he's going to sign a second deal.
It's us with Josh Oliver.
Right, they re-signed him.
Yes,
yeah.
It's the Vikings with Josh Oliver. I mean, some of these guys, you have them in there because when you need a yard, they're gonna make the block. But going back to what you said, Jack, and how Colston Loveland could be a security blanket, I actually think though it's more than that too. Where like the hope for Colston Loveland is that he can be a Brock Bowers-esque guy. Like he's that good of a receiver. It's yes, he could be a security blanket for Caleb, but he's actually like he's there to be one of the dudes. Like he should be dominating on Sunday. Like that's what their hope is that he can come out, and obviously a Brock Bowers rookie season is the greatest rookie tight end season we've ever seen. But the hope is that Colston Loveland can be closer to that than someone who Caleb's dumping the ball off to, or you're hoping he progresses as a blocker.
I guess it's the 10th overall pick. Yes, that's what you're.
Oh no, but like I agree with your point.
They're not drafting him to be like slightly better Cole Kmet.
No, I totally agree with Jack's point that like Loveland is going to be, he's someone who catches the ball really well and he'll help Caleb. But that's the exciting part for Bears fans is, yeah, you get that, but you also like this is a real weapon here. The same way that we talk about. Remember we were just mentioning all the receivers and how I don't have that Matthew Golden expectations in line with CeeDee Lamb upon initial like reflection of it. Like Colston Loveland was drafted higher than CeeDee Lamb. He was the 10th pick in the draft. And because if he was a receiver, if he was listed as a receiver, we would have much different thoughts about what's going on in Chicago. But since he's a tight end, it's an underappreciated position. Like this guy could be really, really impactful. He will be really impactful if he's healthy.
I was just saying, like this Bears team has a decent amount of weapons now, also with Luther Burden as well.
Everywhere
is a tight end, unless you're Travis Kelce, is not usually a first read. So what I was saying, you're right. So what I was saying is like if nothing is there, chances are.
Oh yeah, no, I totally
you can
agree.
find Colston Loveland.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm just saying
if he can also take that step 2 towards a Brock Bowers type guy.
Yeah, if he's like that, and you have DJ Moore and a Dunze is someone who you're hoping also takes another step. This is across the whole NFC North. This is what's so kind of enticing about this division is all of the weapons run so deep. Like every team has not one, not two, not so like deep. 3 or 4, like 3 or 4 just high priority, highly prized guys you could throw the football to or hand off to. It's really crazy. I don't think it's a overreaction either to say that he, if he gets going, it could be a problem. All right, we'll move off of the NFC North here to a couple teams. Let's start off.
Let's be a little more objective.
A little more objective. Well, I mean, I feel like we're pretty kind at all of the North teams.
Well, they're all pretty good, I think.
Yeah, they
Besides the Bears.
They're all very fun training camp teams, other than the Lions. The Lions really aren't. But the Vikings and the Packers and the Bears.
The Vikings and the Bears are perfect training camp.
Yes, they are perfect for training
like teams who are going to probably stink, but you have some good.
But they have all the reasons for hype.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
So I see it. I want to go to the Patriots with you guys because I'm actually a little confused about what really is going on there. One day you see reports and it's like Drake Maye is going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. Like the Patriot, like they found their guy, and you see, and this is, I guess, where I fall victim to the Twitter videos of people who are just posting random stuff. Like Drake Maye sets the world on fire because right today I'm like, all right, let me make sure nothing crazy happened today. And Chad Graff wrote an article for The Athletic and a couple other articles like this that were like, yeah, the Patriots are pretty inconsistent. The offense has been lackluster. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like, I thought 2 days ago when I looked at this, it was like lighting the world on fire. And what Graff wrote was, there have been enough on-the-money throws to convince you May can be a top 10 QB this season. But if you're ready to nitpick and believe the front office didn't do enough in the offseason to improve, there have been plenty of struggles which you can point to. In short, the offense has been inconsistent. And he goes on to say, offensive line's a little shaky, the receiver depth is struggling, and then he said May's accuracy has also been an issue at times, along with many botched snaps between May and his centers, which can be drive enders. So that article, to me, I went, wait a second. Like,
that's something you don't want to
hear. That sounds really bad.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to hear.
And, we...
Wait.
Go ahead.
Did you say a botched snap with the center?
Oh, dude.
You're telling me Garrett Bradbury is botching a snap? Really?
I'm telling you, Patriots fans, I know that everyone was hoping to bolster up that offensive line again. And I like Garrett Bradbury, and he has his moments.
Was he a nice
He's an
Viking?
effective blocker.
Yes. He was the Viking center for a while. But like when he struggles, it gets bad. And there were some articles where people were like, the offensive line should vastly improve with Bradbury. I don't know. I hope for his sake. I like Bradbury. And again, there are positives. But yeah, we'll see. That Patriots offensive line is not what it used to be.
And this is what we talk about too. It's so easy to overreact to good things and be like, oh yeah, it's training camp, whatever. But you'd much rather hear that than react to something like this.
But this is the same way we can't overreact to the JJ McCarthy news. You can't overreact to all the Drake. Like Drake Maye will have ups and downs.
Yes,
100% here too. But the difference to me between analyzing and talking about Drake Maye's Patriots and JJ McCarthy and the Vikings is that with this roster, it's on Drake Maye to elevate the Patriots, right? JJ McCarthy has the guys to elevate him where, yes, he can be average, as Dan Orlovsky said, and the Vikings can go far. Like, culture can only take you so far. And that's what everyone's talking about with Vrabel changing the culture. You look up and down this Patriots roster on offense, like, who gets you excited? I know you love Ramondre, Ziggy, but Ramondre is not Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not, he's not Josh Jacobs. Diggs is your wide receiver one. Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins, Hunter Henry, a below average offensive line. Like, this is a big bet on Drake Maye if you're going to pick the Patriots as a playoff team, which a lot of people are doing. It's like, this offense stinks.
Drake Maye has to be awesome. Like, we talk about like Brock Purdy back on those Niner teams, or JJ McCarthy now. Like, we've seen examples of just being an okay game manager type of quarterback. I guess even like what Sam Darnold was. He was very good last year. But Drake Maye,
but Darnold was, his main job was to be game manager,
like not lose you a game.
Yes,
like Drake,
he had a great season.
Yeah, like Drake Maye has to
be
the guy to win you football games. And be Josh Allen. Yes. Can he be that? I don't know.
Well, the Patriots did place that bet because no team spent more money on free agency this year than the Patriots by any metric you want. Full guarantees, total money, first year cash. And they spent it basically entirely on the defense. The Vikings, for the record, were number 2 in free agent spending in all those categories. So we're placing a big bet on JJ McCarthy too. But with the Vikings, they've got the offense, right? So the fact that a lot of that spending came either on the defense or the offensive line was whatever. If you're a Patriots fan, I think you've got to be pretty disappointed that you didn't really get any weapons around Drake Maye. Now, those weapons weren't there. They offered Chris Godwin like double what the Buccaneers offered him to leave, and he said, nah, I'm good. I like Tampa Bay more. But I really think after watching last year, I agree with the Patriots making that bet. I don't necessarily like all the contracts they handed out, but I firmly expect Drake Maye to be that guy. I think by far he had the best rookie season out of any quarterback last year. I think he had a better season than even Jaden Daniels in terms of how he played and given the circumstances around him. Obviously, Jaden Daniels had way more success. But you don't understand how bad things were in New England last year.
That's a hard sell.
At least as impressed of Drake Maye. You're going to find out this year. You will find out that Drake Maye is one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League.
I also want to walk back. When I said this team stinks
in the National, well, so if he is, then then they'll be good.
When I said this team,
he's got the arm, he's got the mobility, he's got the accuracy. I'll step back from the Jaden Daniels sake. Obviously, Jaden Daniels was more impressive, but I do want to impress how bad things were in New England last year.
They are, but like Demario Douglas, I know is having a good camp, and they're hoping he could be, an above average slot receiver. But I think I just saw an article here that said the next great Patriots slot receiver. Again, training camp. But you have to see what I'm saying, right? So many people are buying into New England, and it's yes, the defense should be better. But I mean, I don't know. Like, that's a lot on Drake Maye, and it's going to take a Herculean effort to compete with these other teams in the AFC. I mean, like when the Patriots
who
go
better than a guy who looks like Hercules?
But that's if it's Hercules.
Yeah, that's a big bet on Drake Maye, and you're right. They have placed this faith in him, and there are at times, yes, people can see that. And if Drake Maye comes out and plays unbelievable, then Diggs, Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins, Ramondre, like that'll be fine. Because we've seen when you have an elite quarterback, he can carry average to below average weapons very far. Mm. Like it won't matter those weapons if May's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But if May's not unbelievable, this is not.
And
if he's average, and I get that that's not the bet the Patriots are placing, but if he is, it's going to be a very different season than some people are expecting.
I mean, Tom Brady had nobody.
But he was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do want to be clear. First of all, Tom Brady had Gronk. That's definitely not nobody.
Yeah, there were a couple years where Gronk was hurt.
I'm not necessarily placing a bet on the Patriots to be a great playoff team or to win the division. I'm placing a bet on Drake Maye being good, even if that means the team's terrible.
Yes, and placing a bet on Drake Maye being good could get them to a wild card. Like that, but he has to be very, very good.
I mean, that AFC 7 spot will always be up for grabs. But most teams will compete for that. Outside of who? Like Cleveland and...
Yeah, I mean, outside Cleveland, outside of you're probably thinking Tennessee.
Like the tight, right, there. Tennessee, yeah.
I mean, it's very competitive.
That'll be up for grabs.
I just really think that it's a tough spot. Caleb has so many weapons around him. McCarthy has so many weapons. Bo Nix and the Broncos not particularly, but there's McLaurin, and you're seeing what Debo could be for Jaden, and Penix has Drake London and Bijan. This is one of the worst right now, because I'm all for this. Is another thing that we always talk about in this show. Like, we're all for believing in guys defying the expectations. The Patriots come out and Stephon Diggs turns back the clock and Demario Douglas breaks out. Yeah, there's a world where it could work. But just from the initial perception we have of this roster right now, we're not thinking that the weapons in New England are going to really help Drake Maye. So we'll see what happens. But I was just trying to wrap my head around what the real story is in New England. Like, is this team going to be really good, or are they going to... There's a world where they win 5 games this year.
Well, it's the Diggs curse now, too.
Yeah. Matthew Stafford... So, over-underreaction, I guess... or not, or to all the Patriots news, I guess...
I'd say it's not an overreaction.
I guess I'd say it's not an overreaction, yeah, because I think there are real holes on
and they
roster.
were bad last year, too.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying anything negative about Drake.
Yeah, so I think they need to separate them. Yeah, you could separate the May overreaction from... I don't think it is with the team. We got a couple more here. So this might turn into one of the bigger stories of training camp. It also may become nothing. And that's the beauty of training camp stories. Just recently, Sean McVay said that Matthew Stafford would be throwing during the second block of training camp. He's not doing that anymore. Now he's sitting out because of back soreness, not practicing. McVay has come out. He said nothing's changed in terms of a setback. Maybe I spoke a little too soon. The ultimate goal is Houston. That's week 1. And being mindful of that. So we'll take it a week at a time with him. He said he's not worried, given the information that he has at the moment. So who knows? Maybe Stafford he's an older quarterback. We all remember Brett Favre didn't want to play in training camp.
Yes, that's a massive overreaction.
Probably. I think it's probably an overreaction to anyone concerned. But
He's like 50. Like, who wants to play in July?
But that's the whole problem here. Is that Stafford is a lot older, has had injuries before.
He just doesn't want to play. It's July.
I
Bo
probably
Nix
agree.
played through back fractures. You think that Matthew Stafford's going to play through back fractures? No. My panic meter is extremely high on this if I'm a Rams fan.
Nix is like... Stafford probably doesn't want to play in training camp.
That's my guess. But Matthew Stafford is also the guy that you see the video when he was a rookie. He separated his shoulder and he's running down the field crying and throwing the game-winning touchdown against the Browns. Like, this is, I mean, when push comes to shove, Matthew Stafford's one of the toughest guys. I think right now he just doesn't want, I bet his back's a little sore. He's like, let me not aggravate this. I don't need to come out here and be in training camp. That's my guess. But I understand the people who the alarm bells start to go off. So Ziggy, why are you so concerned about it? Because of the history?
Matthew Stafford, back and neck injuries are the sort of thing that's very hard to project out. But it's easy to forget because last year was so good. But we're not very far removed from Matthew Stafford seriously considering retirement because his back and neck injuries were so bad. Last year, you didn't really hear a thing about them, which is good. But to have that showing up now, I mean, I get that it's training camp. I think you're right that he's probably sitting out on this one because he doesn't have to play. But last year, you didn't hear anything about these. He was healthy. He was able to go through the season. Back soreness very quickly becomes debilitating back pain in ways that are totally unpredictable. The last thing you want to hear about your quarterback is their back hurts.
Dude.
Right? Because here's what Matthew Stafford's going to have to go out and do with a mediocre offensive line. He's going to have to go out and get blown up by Nick Bosa. Right? Imagine your back already hurts and you've got these guys that are the size of trucks hitting you as hard as you can. And we all know Matthew Stafford's going to take some vicious sacks this year, right? That's just who the guy is. I don't think, I've been saying all offseason, I think the Rams window is closed. I do not think he's going to make it through this whole season. This just confirms what I already thought.
They also got unbelievable painkillers at the end. And like they can just shoot him up with stuff in the line.
Well, Jack, close your eyes for a second for me. So I want you to think, can you picture this in your head? Nick Bosa comes screaming around the corner, hits Stafford. You can see Stafford right now. Anyone listening, if you're not driving, close your eyes. You can picture it right now.
You can close your eyes if you are driving.
Stafford's left hand on the back of his back, grimacing. But like you can, I can see that in my head.
That can be any quarterback in the league.
It can be, but it's more likely to be Stafford than a lot of these guys. Like I can see it. Now he'll stay in the game.
Someone like Bo Nix who did, he was trying to earn his stripes.
Where is this Bo Nix fascination coming from?
Ziggy, you're talking about Bo.
Oh, because Bo Nix played last season.
I'm sorry. I forgot Ziggy
vertebrae
loves
fractures.
Yes, but like someone
maybe Bo
like,
is he might
like
be the
someone
guy.
who's young and trying to earn his stripes, like Matthew Stafford, younger Stafford would have played. Like I think it's legit just having your NFL status. You're probably a Hall of Famer. You're a little bit sore. It's July. Why not? I'm not going to push myself right now.
No, I agree with you. I am on your side of this debate, but I see where Ziggy's coming from. I do acknowledge that.
I think what we've learned is I take training camp news way too seriously.
Or you're correct.
Yeah, or he'll get hit in week 1 and then it'll be a disaster season for the Rams. Nick Wright was making me laugh when he was like, Devontae Adams comes over and he's back to Jimmy G throwing him the football in training games. Like, oh, I can't escape this guy.
Yeah, can't leave.
So we'll see what happens with Stafford there. I thought there was something that popped into my head, but I can't remember what it was about Stafford.
He's got a staph infection.
Yeah. Oh, you know what it was? It was about his back there and back pain. Not to compare myself to a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I remember getting surgery one time and I had a really bad recovery that involved back spasms and stuff. It's brutal. I mean, back pain. If anyone in the chat has had back pain,
I've had back pain.
Oh, it is just
terrible.
It's debilitating.
But I wasn't a wimp. I played.
I remember Bill Walton was on a broadcast one time. That's sad that we're not going to get any more Bill Walton. We have no more Pac-12 Bill Walton late nights. But Bill Walton was on a broadcast and he was saying he always thought that people who complained about back problems were wusses. And he said, then I had back pain. He's like, I was knocked on my... He said, I was lying on the ground staring at the ceiling in a dark room. Like, couldn't move. And that's where Ziggy's comments can make sense when you have these. And that's why I was worried about Jefferson, the hamstring. There are some injuries that can linger. And if you're hit the wrong way, it can really derail a season. The very last thing we'll talk about is Jack's Pittsburgh Steelers. Jack was really happy. Jack came down here. Jack came down. He was like floating on cloud nine. He's like, "Did you guys see the Pat McAfee show today? They were in Pittsburgh. Jalen Ramsey looks great."
Actually, they were in Latrobe.
Latrobe.
It's an hour from Pittsburgh. I was there as a kid. Great facility. But yeah, Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
What was your favorite part of the day at Steelers training camp?
I was young.
I meant today, but go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh
no, go ahead. I'd rather hear this one.
I don't even remember. I think just like seeing all the players walk out, and I was like 3 feet away, and I was giving them like high fives and stuff.
You were
like
like
that.
The little kid.
Yes. Yeah. I was like a 9-year-old kid, like giving Big Ben a high five, and I think Mike Wallace was there at the time. And
this is not
James Harrison.
Long ago. I was thinking this was like Hines Ward and.
No, I think it was a bit later than that. But like
Okay.
James Harrison was there. It was fun.
Okay, so you're probably like 12 or 13.
Like Taylor. Yeah, probably about 12.
Jack's like I was 17 years old.
No, I think it's about 12. My favorite part today is when Aaron Rodgers came on and he said that this is one of the what's the exact quote? One of the the most hallmark.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Read it exactly.
I have your.
I loved it.
One of the cornerstone franchises in the NFL. It's just different here.
Yes. So I have said this before that it is a different feel out in Western Pennsylvania. It's a real football town. It's the real title town. Like it puts Green Bay to shame. And now your own quarterback is saying it's different here. Like he hasn't seen anything like this Pittsburgh Steelers fan base. This is the real title town. And I'll tell you what, like this was just training camp. Wait till he gets to Pittsburgh, the 6-time Super Bowl champ Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's also out here saying how he's impressed with my Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey brings demeanor that's contagious. I've been blown away by his approach to the business.
He's a veteran. People want to be in Pittsburgh. People love to be in Pittsburgh. People love Mike Tomlin.
Preach, Jack.
People love the camaraderie. Pittsburgh's like nothing else. And I'm really feeling some special things this year. I mean, all these other, Green Bay and San Francisco and Dallas, they couldn't even wipe our ass. Aaron Rodgers saying today, it is different here. Jalen Ramsey wanting to be there. It's a different feel. And something special is going to happen in the real title town this year.
I didn't anticipate
Sixburg.
Jalen Ramsey just wanted to be anywhere other than Miami, and Aaron Rodgers got turned down by the Vikings.
People want to be.
There is no. Who's the last big free agent?
People want to be in Pittsburgh.
I think
who's the last big free agent you guys got?
Jalen Ramsey.
As far as like
got
a free agent.
Well, we didn't need we haven't needed one.
Who is the last big free agent that they got? They traded for Minka, right? They traded for Metcalf. They drafted Pickens. They
also got Darius Slay.
Did they trade for Queen, Patrick Queen, or did they? I think
that
they
was
signed
a free
him.
agent.
Yeah,
that would probably be their last big one, right?
You're not getting guys like Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs in free agents. Nobody actually wants to go to Pittsburgh.
I did not anticipate that turning into a trash talk. I thought Jack was gonna be like, yeah, I'm really excited.
When you're one of the
you thought Jack was gonna avoid trash talking the Packers just like Aaron Rodgers is, even though Aaron Rodgers owes his whole career to the Packers.
he owes to the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, I bet, has enjoyed his time in Latrobe more than his entire career in Green Bay.
Yeah, we need to maybe we'll take the trip for Packers Steelers. We'll see. Well, that could be.
Ziggy will be happy when the Pack get murdered that game.
I'm excited for the Steelers. I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch this season.
They're going to be good.
Now, wait. I guess when I say a lot of fun, I mean like
we're also about to get Terry McLaurin
in the beginning of the year. Yeah, right. In the beginning of the season, there's
seriously.
a lot of intrigue around them. What is there something I'm missing with McLaurin?
Yeah, Washington doesn't want to pay him, and Pittsburgh is going to give him the money.
Terry.
So we're going to have McLaurin, DK.
If you guys give McLaurin a giant contract, you're insane.
I don't think so. This is going to be a good team.
I can't see a world where McLaurin's not back on the Commanders. I mean, I know that it's not looking good right now, but I just can't. For them to get where they want to go this season, he needs to be there. You just
That's
have to.
why you know that Terry McLaurin is asking for something ridiculous.
Now, I do think, though, the Steelers, this is interesting. If the Steelers got Terry McLaurin,
AFC favorites.
that would change my view of them, which maybe some people find crazy, but I think the offense is lacking a little bit. If you add in that second guy, who's the receivers right now in Pittsburgh after DK?
Jonnu Smith.
Oh, Jonnu Smith is. But who's actually, let me see, who are the actual receivers? It's Calvin Austin and Robert Woods.
Only got 5.
And Roman Wilson.
We pretty much have 2 Gronks and DK Metcalf.
If they add Terry McLaurin, I'll move their odds. Vegas has them at 40 to 1 right now. I think they moved to 35 or 30 to 1, right? With the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
The Bears have better odds than that's insane.
The Bears have dramatically better odds than you guys.
That's a mess up in the book.
I would, assuming they get, even without McLaurin, I might have the Steelers. I'd probably have the Steelers over the Bears.
100%.
But you know what it is? It's you're betting on, as often is the case in the NFL, you're betting on the quarterbacks here. If Aaron Rodgers or who's going to be better this year? Aaron Rodgers or Caleb Williams?
Aaron Rodgers.
Because I think the teams are both solid around. But like if Caleb Williams is really good, the Bears could be a real threat. I mean so I understand. I think that sounds about right. If they got McLaurin be on par with the Bears.
Watt also said he loves Aaron Rodgers.
What was
Rodgers is a trash talker.
Oh yeah, what was he saying? He's like, you suck.
Like Rodgers will complete a pass and then he'll talk to TJ.
You're overrated.
Stuff like that.
That's great. Jack, what do you say is do you have a top 3 Steelers games you've been to? Because you've been to so many.
Yeah, one AFC chip against the Ravens for sure. Polamalu's pick 6. That's number 1. Also covered a 7-point spread too on that pick 6. Then beating the Jets AFC Championship 24-19 final.
Wasn't the Chargers one of them?
It was one of my least favorites because I was freezing to death in the bathroom.
Oh, you crying?
Yes.
Yeah, but they won.
We killed them.
Remember Jack's like, yeah, I played through the pain. He's crying in the bathroom. It's a little cold outside.
And then
when it's cold, I will give you that. When you're cold at a football game, it's miserable.
It was a real feel of -6 degrees. I wasn't prepared. And then my third favorite was the divisional round, probably. Antonio Brown's helmet catch on the sideline against Baltimore.
Yes.
We won that game, then went to play the Jets. 3 playoff games.
Yeah. Playoff games are electric.
Although, if Jesse James has ruled a catch, that might be number 1.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. There's been a couple of those. I mean, the Calvin Johnson, the Des Bryant. Des Bryant caught that. There's a catch. Ziggy, it's kind of what's kind of funny is when Jack was talking about the cold games. I was talking with you about this the other day when we went to Florida State last year. A lot of our Notre Dame friends went to the Florida State game. Unfortunately, Ziggy couldn't make it to that one. But you went to Indiana?
Correct.
Not Florida. Yeah. So at Florida State. At Florida State, it was freezing, and Notre Dame won 50-0, and none of us were ready for the game, which at this point in time, we should be. It's really on us to there should never be a football game. We've been to a gazillion, but we're not ready for the cold weather, freezing cold. The next week or 2 weeks later, we played Army at Yankee Stadium with our friend Vince Mount, who may or may not be listening to this.
You came prepared.
And I came with 3 layers, big jacket. I wore thermal underwear, sweatpants, boots, hat, scarf. I mean, the only thing exposed were my eyes and my nose. And it was I remember I went and saw some of our NDTV friends or my NDTV friends, and they're like, wow,
that's the same thing I did.
You look like a Yeti. It's but I'm not cold.
Yep.
And wait, let me just finish this real quick. What was really funny about this to me was, remember I told you this, after the game, I was like, I could go for a root beer or something. So I stopped at the Walgreens 5 minutes down the road, and it's 12:30 in the morning. It's a 24-hour store. And I did not take any of the layers off. It was that cold. I walk into the Walgreens, and I'm just with the boots on, I'm 6'4". I look huge, and all you can see are my eyes and my nose. And I see the store employee holding a sign in a very combative stance. He's like, "Good evening, sir. Can I help you with anything?" And I didn't hear him. He's like, "Can I help you, sir?" And I just looked over at him. I was like, "Oh no, I'm good. Thanks, man." But he just watched me the whole time through. And then after I bought everyone's watching me in the store.
But you weren't cold.
I wasn't cold. No, I wasn't cold. And when I checked out and I'm walking back to the door, I could see my reflection. I was like, oh, yeah, this makes
I
sense.
thought you were about to hold up the place.
100%. I looked terrifying. Like if for someone coming in at 12:45 in the morning.
With the Chargers game, we killed them. It was divisional round. I was in the bathroom at halftime crying. Like everyone was lining up. People were lining up, giving me hand warmers, toe warmers, everything.
And kiss on the cheek.
Like we left the game early in the fourth quarter. And the following week came back and hosted the Ravens. I had like 7 winter jackets on. And if I was fine.
But you're great. It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's always okay to be made fun of if you're overdressed because you're warm.
100%.
I'd much rather be warm than look good. So Ziggy looks like he's really enjoying the stories.
I got to get my sister from the train station.
So we'll wrap it up here. A fun training camp overreaction. So I know we put out a mailbag. We'll get to that either probably I guess early next week. But we're not going to ignore the mailbag that we put out.
But tonight there's football.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
Oh yeah, there is.
The Detroit Lions play a football game tonight.
Yeah,
football
you're
is
right.
back.
Chargers and Lions.
Football is back.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll have to monitor
we'll get to see whether Jim Harbaugh's identified biggest weakness of Justin Herbert holds. Did you see that, Jack?
Yes, I saw that.
What was the quote?
Harbaugh says he's asked in an interview, like what's Justin Herbert's biggest weakness? And of course, you might think, okay, well, he doesn't come up clutch in big moments. He needs to work a little bit on his mechanics. His biggest weakness is those he's counting on offense. His offensive teammates must get on his level.
Yeah,
so the biggest weakness of Justin Herbert is everyone around him sucks.
Like big plays being taken away from holding penalties, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what that is equivalent to? That's like someone interviewing like Superman. They're like, what's your biggest weakness? He's like, the rest of the Justice League sucks. Yeah. And like, I have to do everything.
That's like when I'm in a job interview and they say, what's your biggest weakness? And you say, I love working too much. I struggle with work-life balance.
The rest of my whole coworkers suck. I had to do everything.
Herbert's in a big prove it year. He's one of those guys we've been highlighting all offseason, the guys who have something to prove. And Justin Herbert, different than Trevor Lawrence or Caleb Williams, who are kind of, fighting for relevancy. Everyone agrees Justin Herbert's great. But if the Chargers are not good this year, or if they don't win a playoff game, you're going to see him come off that pedestal a little bit. Unless if he throws, for 50 touchdowns or something and just struggles in the playoffs, then it's going to be a playoff narrative. But he really has something to prove as far as what people are saying about him. Are they right? And we'll see. I mean, I doubt he plays tonight, but we'll get the first look at the Chargers and the Lions later this evening. So, all right, appreciate you guys for hopping on, and we'll be back maybe by the time we're back 20,000 subscribers. Maybe. See you then.